The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host, the koala bear of Wall Street. And of course, we've got a market that is down today. And I have a feeling that we're down because certain CNBC pundits, I wouldn't even call them pundits because they don't have any real dogs in the hunt. But they were shaking their fists saying that there's no way that you're ever going to get a 10% correction again. It's just the market's just not going to let you in. And I knew yesterday morning that that was the sign from God I was waiting for, that yes, indeed, we were going to at least get some kind of pullback. It doesn't seem like you can ever make such a huge prognostication without it getting shoved right back down your throat in a market. But we've got very interesting stuff going on. Of course, we're off a little more than 13 points on the S&P cash, about 4 points higher than the low of the day, just kicking over about 2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, which is lighter than the last few days. But my guess is that we're going to continue to see a bull and bear fight here for a while. If you've been listening probably the last week or 10 days, my theory has always been that we were in deflation, that as the market slowed down in Europe, we might have some cash kind of slosh on over here. But my guess is as the cash sloshes over here, it's much like what Joe Granville used to talk about. Guy wasn't right about just about anything. He was right once in his life, and that's all that seemed to matter. Nice enough guy. When I lived in the same town with him and I was 20 years old, he wandered in the store that I was working at one night. But at that time, I really didn't have any idea what that was all about. And a little bit before he became outrageously famous for being a bear. If you're always a bear, you're eventually going to be right. If you're always a bull, you're going to be right more than often until, of course, you walk into a bear market and it eats you alive. But he had one theory, and probably one of these people who say, if I just saved one kid, it was worth it. Well, I think you're a horrible failure. You should be saving, if whatever you're doing is supposed to be saving kids, you should save a lot more than one. It doesn't seem like an awful low target to go after. If I just save one. No. Those people, I think they kind of talk like losers. I would want to save a bunch. As long as you're going to do something, you might have tried to save a bunch, right? Shouldn't shoot that low. Anyway, he was right once, as I digress, as I often do. And he had one theory, though, and I guess actually two, that I'll think of from time to time, are notions. And that was in a bear market or in a market that's ready to turn, what you will see is right after the Titanic hit the iceberg and water started to come in, the bow started to rise, or the stern started to rise, the bow started to slip under the waves, and everybody ran to the back of the ship. And that's kind of a interesting allegory for what happens. People are seeing their ships start to sink in Europe, so kind of moving over here the last few weeks. Now we're starting to see water come over the rails on the back end of the ship, at least in my opinion. And what do you do then? I can remember talking to a gentleman that was in the car club I was in, and I think it was like 2007 or 2008 or something. It had to be 2007. And he was asking me, I said, well, The one thing I know about history is truly that's it. That you get a lot of people racing to the stern because they think it's safe or safer just before the whole ship goes down. And if I was him, I'd get out of some really risky. Was in some balloon stocks at the time. Somehow I have a feeling he was in the Garmin or something like that, if I remember right. But as I digress, as I often do, it is one of those markets where I'm looking for a test of 1905, and I don't think we're going to go back and test the highs before then. I think that there's a better than even chance that we break 1905 probably before the end of the year and see much lower prices. This is all going to be based on the dollar index, up again 61 cents today. So, any kind of a little problem like that is going to put a lot of pressure on it. I've seen some people out this morning, I'll call them liars, because they said it won't matter. It has a lot more to do with something else or this or that or the other. And like I said, I'll just plainly call him a liar. If all things are equal and suddenly you're bringing back 6 or 8% less cash because of the exchange rate, what does that do to your revenues, and what does that do to your ability to capture actual gross profit? So I think there's a lot of problem, a lot of headwinds. Of course, we've seen overnight Samsung come out with a fairly decent warning. We've been talking about that for a while, and that is the glut of high-end phones. Apple says they're immune, or at least the people surrounding Apple say that they're immune. I don't believe so. I don't believe maybe they'll be hurt as badly as Samsung. But the proliferation of extremely cheap Android phones in China has pretty much cut off the Apple and Samsung people at the pass. And that is getting these people to upgrade to very expensive phones that need 4G connectivity. Well, there isn't that much 4G in all of China, much less in the 40 top cities that have 80% of the population of the countries with enough money to buy a phone, let me put it that way. So you've got a fairly concentrated level of people in the 40 top cities. Those top cities, of course, upgraded to fairly fast internet last year, but it is all at home. There isn't the Wi-Fi go around, and that's because of the security concerns of the Chi-Coms. They don't want people being able to use internet just anywhere where you can find it, and they've pretty much put the kibosh on letting bits fly freely across the internet, especially over airwaves where they can't pin somebody down and throw them in the gulag or take them out into the rice paddies and in their life. So it is one of those things where we're seeing a market that I think is ready to pull back. And like I said, I'm looking for 1905. We'll see how this goes by the end of the day. But my guess is we're going to close down somewhere around those lows at 1948 today or lower. Today in 1896, we had the first, and that was the rise of the indexes. The Dow Jones Industrial Average began continuous daily publication. It had 12 stocks, and they had names like American Cotton Oil, American Sugar, American Tobacco, Chicago Gas, American Spirits. American was real big back then, I guess. General Electric, which I think is the only one still left, even from the 50s, I think. I don't think there's many, maybe IBM too. Laclede Gas, National Lead, U.S. Cordage, Tennessee Coal and Iron, U.S. Leathers, and U.S. Rubber. See if you can remember any of those names the next time someone tells you that growth companies of today will endure forever. Well, they don't. All these indexes have a problem called the survivalship bias, and we've talked about that before, so you can go look it up on Wikipedia. I will not belabor the point once again. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-877-927. I can't even remember it now. My brain's blown. Anyway, DuPont. Thank you, Basil from the Mr. Chapman wave in the den. As we go to 877-927-6648. I got it there. Now I just spout it off. I don't even have it laid around. Anyway, give me a call. You can also email me at path@tfnn.com. What else is going on out here? We've got a little bit of action in Brazil, a little bit of bounce. My guess is that the commie babe, Dilma, is probably going to win from everything I read. So we're getting a little bounce in Brazil. But I don't think that's going to make anything better. If anything, since the runoff in the last day or so, she's going even farther to the left. And not the National Socialist Party, not a Nazi, but I always wondered the fascination with Argentina and Nazis. Why did all the Nazis go there? Why were they so happy to talk to and get Nazis? There must be something down there with National Socialism and communism. And why was, even though it wasn't that different, why was Hitler so upset about the way things were in Russia? It wasn't a dime worth of difference, was they? The only difference was Stalin actually was able to kill more of his people than actually even Hitler did. Interesting. Was there anything else? We were talking about earnings yesterday. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Of course, after the bell tonight, we've got Yum Brands. That's going to tell us a lot, especially as they move any cash back here. We'll have to see what they say tonight. After last night's pretty devastating earnings for companies like SodaStream, I guess they came out this morning, and the Container Store last night, I think we've started off earnings in a fairly negative way. Of course, tomorrow morning, we're going to look at Costco and Monsanto. Monsanto probably might be more hurt on foreign shipments than anybody else, but that's also going to give us a good read. I don't think Costco is going to change much, other than maybe margins are hurt as products cost more to come into the country. Of course, next week we get into Citigroup, Johnson & Johnson, CSX in the trains, and Intel, Dunkin' Brands, Travel Zoo, American Express, Las Vegas Sands, Netflix, and United Rentals. Of course, Thursday, Google, Capital One, and SanDisk. We've got a murderer's row of big earnings coming out next week, and a taste, just a little, going to just wet your beak this week. As we look at those kind of earnings. Of course, getting ready to go into daylight savings time, October 26th for Europe. And then, of course, we're going to have about a week where Europe's going to close about an hour earlier than us till about November 2nd. And I think that pretty much takes care of it. We'll be back in just a minute. And make sure you give me a call. Got lots of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into something else when I come back. GTAT, I think I figured out what's going on.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
Andy Hecht's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And let's see, what else do we have? We got a few people emailing me here. We'll get into those after the bottom of the hour. But certainly an interesting day. Now, we wanted to go to GTAT. Nice little bounce out of here. In fact, I almost wanted to call in last night and talk about this. I finally figured out what's going on with GT Advanced Technologies. And that is, of course, they had a huge run-up by becoming the screen display technology, i.e. the glass, for the iPhone business. And it would have been huge for them. They went public, basically coming up to it. They also had some other issues, and they didn't have enough cash. So they made a deal with Apple about a year and a half ago, and that was Apple was going to loan them about $600 million, a little less than $600 million. And yesterday, when they claimed a bankruptcy or filed for bankruptcy, I suspect a huge amount of this is going to be after Apple. Now, Apple's already bought a load of machines from them, and I warned everybody that you had to watch out for this because I didn't know where the next customer was going to come. But last day, actually today, they're out saying that that they don't have any anti-compete contract clauses, and they could sell anybody they want to. But my guess is that $600 million loan is exactly what GT Advanced Technology is going out by and going after. Since it was not within the 3 months prior to filing, that will be part of it. So they may be able to get maybe $400 million of that written off. And of course, Apple, if they don't use the sapphire material for the watch, going to have a total write-off. This may be more than $1 billion boondoggle for Apple, and why it probably is a rounding error for what these guys are making now. It does go to show you that Apple is not invincible and can make mistakes. And it is going to be an interesting day. We continue to see Apple coming a little weaker, but I have a feeling that we've gotten up to a little over $2 on GT Advanced Technology. It may not be the blowout problem that everybody thought it was, with shareholders losing all their money. I took a little taste out of it today, but certainly not something you'd want to be in without your finger on the trigger out here. But certainly, I think they're going to be around. And I have a feeling that when everything's washed out, this is a big deal to make a deal with Apple, with the threat of bankruptcy coming out. And they probably will not go bankrupt at all. And as far as they're concerned, Apple basically ballooned them up and then killed them at the 11th hour. And I don't think there's any love left for those guys. Of course, one of the other problems with GT Advanced Technologies is that they make a lot of sapphire for U.S. companies in solar cell business. It's unclear just how big of an impact this will be. They were the largest in this space. I saw a bunch of people, again, I will call them liars, spreading disinformation that it would have no impact. I don't understand how Goodyear Tire going out of business tomorrow as the biggest tire manufacturer in the country wouldn't affect everybody else. I can't imagine the biggest sapphire manufacturer going out of business and it not affecting anybody else either. So we'll see how this goes, but look for a little bit more disruption for anybody that needs super high temperature substrates to replace silicon, which is exactly what GT Advanced Technology pretty much had been doing. And all they were doing was supplying solar cell manufacturers. But I think there's a lot more out here. To take them over for a small, I have a feeling somebody in the den said, well, Apple would have known and just made a deal with them to buy out. I have a feeling that that maybe the CEO thinks that he was stabbed in the back, and it may not be wanting to make a deal with Apple. He may think that he can make a much better deal with them if he just goes out of business and leaves them high and dry. The mutual assured destruction of it all, and that may be it. But I got a nice taste out of this today, and I have a feeling the story on this is long from over. It may take a long time. I'm not thinking that the stock's worth $10 again anytime soon. But I wasn't surprised that this thing bounced a little today. Like I said, I took a little taste. I'm not much of a intraday trader, but I could see what's going on, and I talked to an attorney friend last night that deals in corporate bankruptcy, and I think there's more to it than meets the eye. We will be back in a minute and start looking at stocks.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We are at Code Red. Code Red. Repeat. We are at Code Red.
Yes, we're at Code Red. We're now off 20 points on the S&P cash down to 1945. And, 19 points on the S&P cash. Not, there's some decent volume here, but it really hasn't increased yet. My guess is going to be what, and if we'll ever have the kind of washout into a close. Everybody's wanted to buy every one of these closes for the last, I'm going to say 60 days that we've been weak in these markets. And they haven't been real successful. A little bit of push yesterday up to negative 3 points on the S&P cash. But, 2.25 billion shares as we get on to the bottom of the hour. Now, none of the news seems to be any good out here, and we're going to take a look at a lot of these stocks and what's happening with them. John Deere, of course, a nice big gap down on this thing today. Starting to get some fairly decent volume, but we certainly have enough volume to break this previous low from the September 15th low at $81.55. We've gapped below it, and in the parlance of James Wyckoff, we've jumped the creek here. Volume is coming in. Now, the reason is that John Deere's sister company Agco. Is that how you pronounce it? AGCO? Agco? Yeah, anyway, Agco Corporation, same kind of thing, came out and they had already guided down, and that's why this thing is basically gapped down back here at 52 bucks on the 29th of July with some significant volume. This is the second gap down. My guess is you've got a third gap coming in this company, and that will be the third gap down and maybe one to play. But certainly it is looking fairly good as a three gap down play. Now with a second gap firmly in with energy. And of course, basically guided down last time, guided down this morning even worse, and are going to continue to guide down. And of course, talking about slower business model and the dollar. So not going to be the first one. Another one that popped down today is Brightburn Energy Partners, BBEP. This is another one that had been kind of hovering around that May 9th low at 1965. It kind of went into it yesterday, not a lot of volume, and then you get it. You get the whole jump across the, jump the creek, in this case, back here at this $19 level. And one of the things that one of our previous guests early in the 2000s, and a gentleman that I've been friendly with for a long time, would say is that you don't want a stock that hangs out at the highs because it's probably going to break out through those highs. You don't want to be short it. And you don't want to be long a stock that doesn't seem to get off the ground because unless volume really goes light, it's probably building up steam to blow across, in this case, jump the creek onto the downside. So again, I was talking, I think last Tuesday or Wednesday, about the dog who didn't bark. And so many of these stocks that we look at that should bounce on volume haven't. And I think that has told us a lot more than we have learned in the past. And that is instant buying of all these stocks under somewhat stress, especially like in the gold market. Of course, the miners sucking wind today, or at least earlier this morning. I haven't looked at them lately. FireEye, this one had come down to previous lows. Unfortunately, even it got volume yesterday. So I suspect we're going to be looking at some of these other companies like FireEye breaking down and recent IPOs. Most of these IPOs are seeming to have problems. But that one of the few out there that wasn't down on lighter volume, actually on the same volume. General Motors, we've talked about this for a long time. I've talked about it for 6 months, and that is the insane policy of going back and doing in the housing business in 2008, in the car business with the ridiculously long leases and no interest payments and everything else. I think we're starting to see, as the probably the most famous saying over the next couple of months is going to be, and the chickens have come home to roost, because I heard it about 5 times in the last 24 hours on some of these companies. And I didn't see the headline in General Motors, but I don't think it's anything free. Defects thumped again. Let's see, what do we have here? Downgrade by investment firm Morgan Stanley. So they're throwing a little sand down why General Motors is already having a weak day. Energy not up to the 24 million shares that we saw on September 30th, but the day is not over. Who was that? Curly and what is it? Slick? City Slickers. You haven't killed a man today, have you? Day ain't over yet. I forget the actor who did that, but he was a pretty good guy. Anyway, day isn't over yet, but probably going to be a little light out here. But you've got 2 parts of support down here for General Motors. Most likely the one you want to be looking at is the April 11th low at 3170. It had 45 million shares. That's going to get tested. My guess is that probably going to be a level of support for a little while. Maybe Ford, too, is going to see some sideways action before we start seeing more downside and those jumps across the creek in a lot of those. Agco, is that what it is? Yeah, okay. GMRC, of course, a nice big bounce out of here. To me, this looked like all the evidence of a short squeeze. Everybody on these probably top 10 or 15 shorted stocks not getting a lot of welcome. And one of the reasons that you probably want to give stocks that have super high short interest another 3 weeks after the market crests. These are fairly easy to gouge people on the wrong side of the market on these things, and we're seeing some decent volume out here on Keurig, Green Mountain, also GMCR. Probably a little bit of a bounce also on the misfortune of SodaStream. KOS, as we look at that. What do we have here? Get me back to there. I thought I had somebody emailing me. Andy Brown. Well, I think I just deleted his email. I don't know what stock he was looking at. Cosmo Energy, KOS. Looks like most of the pundits out here are finally agreeing that we're probably going to $87 or lower, maybe $85, and as low as $80 on crude. None of these energy stocks look like they're going to have a lot. Is it Cosmos Energy, KOS, down on fairly decent volume already, and of course just needs 3 million shares to break out its previous low on August 1st. It had 3 million shares at 924. Probably look at maybe in the next couple of days that getting tested. Let me see if we've got any headlines on that one right now. We've got energy company announced that funds affiliated with Blackstone Group and Warburg Pincus have agreed to sell an aggregate of 15 million of Cosmos common shares in an unregistered, underwritten public offering. So can you say dilution? And that's if you dislike these as a long and a shareholder already, nothing like a company that decides after highs to come out here and dump a bunch of shares on the market just for a little bit of additional unwelcomed help to you if you were long. Petrobras, we'd already talked about the socialist babe, or radical. I guess she'd be called terrorist if she probably was running against a current government. But she continues to talk up problems with capitalism in Brazil, but doesn't seem to be dimming the ability for these companies out here to go after it, terrorist babe. The only problem I have with that, and that's someone IM me that, was that she's not much of a babe. No spring chicken. Of course, I'm not either. Anyway, we're kind of finishing this gap down that started when it looked like she was going to win, with a lot of people saying that the challenger was going to win, and that was it. But I think we're pretty much back up here at 1706, and I think most of the worst parts of that are in. Rio Tinto, let's see what else we have out here. Seadrill, S-Fun. See if any of these things are moving. URI earnings coming out fairly soon. I didn't see what happened to this one today. Certainly looks like it's going to blow out its previous two lows and a really solid gap down. Let's look at the headlines on this guy and see what's happening. Conference call and audio webcast. They had earnings. Didn't think their earnings were until next week. United Rail's third quarter conference call and audio. Guess they had that on Friday, and I don't see anything else out here. Maybe they didn't like it to begin with. Not a lot of volume, but certainly enough to blow out these two lows over the last year or 6 months. Let's go back here and look at this thing for a year. This breaking it, and it's going to break it on volume today. You had 2.1 million shares on the August 1st low, 2.4 million shares already. You had a huge sign of weakness back here on August 1st, and that was it, 3.6 million shares. So you got to it, you bounced a little bit, and then you jumped the creek. And that's going to take you back down probably to this $96 level, which is where this thing broke out. But so many of these stocks that had gone higher since last year. And even the spring, in the case of this one, they broke out and never had a sign of strength and went up to these highs. In the case of this one, it had a massive sell signal when it could never get the volume of the July 17th high that had 3.2 million shares. In fact, you kind of messed around all over these September 3rd highs with, 1 million shares is the highest. VLO, of course, the refiner that keeps on giving to the bears, apparently, is gone below these previous lows out here. The volume really hasn't ticked up. You had one day that kind of had some volume out here, and I'm wondering if there isn't some good news coming in Valero. Certainly you don't have the kind of volume you would like to see breaking the previous lows, but the energy to the downside wouldn't have me buying this either. And we're taking a look at that one. Let's see what else we have. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can put a message in the den if you want me to look at. And someone asked, when is the full moon? Tomorrow night? Yeah, it's a lunar eclipse, but it's a strange eclipse, and that is that if you get up right within the first 10 minutes of the sun rising, or first 5 minutes of the sun rising tomorrow, you'll be able to see both the moon and the sun and a eclipse of the moon as you see the sun. And I guess this only happens like every 100 years or something. But it is going to be, it got a special name for it, but I don't remember what it is, so will be interesting. Wanted to see how some of these other stocks that were hammering lows had done. Again, these high volume lows are going to get tested, and in ARMS Holdings, you had a huge spike down on February 4th at $40.90. Not a lot of volume so far today. And again, this is exactly what you're looking for if you want to buy ARMS Holding, this thing in about a $10 trading range. And not too bad out here. Volume is kind of shrinking down here at this $40 level, but my guess is you're going to have a pretty good indication of this thing testing these February 4th lows at $40.90 with 12 million shares in the next day or so as we kind of pound on those lows. Now, when we go back here and take a look, and we bounced just a tad, 2.35 billion shares, so volume is not pouring in yet. But again, it's probably going to pour in the last 30 minutes of the day, one way or the other. But 1946 on the S&P cash. And when we look at the NASDAQ, looks like we're about ready to give up 4,400 once again, 4409.05 right now off a percent. My guess is it'd be fairly easy to take that out at the close. And we're probably headed that way as long as the S&P continues to hold pressure down. But ARMS Holding, one of those few out here looking like it's going to find at least some level of support. No, I don't think it's called the blood moon. I think it's called something else. Maybe it is, but I saw something about it, and I've set my alarm to get up exactly at sunrise, go stand on the roof of my house, and see if I can't see it. Because, ideally what you'd want to be doing is be about 50 miles offshore and not have anything, and to be able to see to the horizon. But it's going to be interesting. Eris Group out here. One coming back into a gap. In fact, a lot of these gaps getting filled. This one for May 7th with almost 9 million shares. Pretty light volume out here. Like I said, a lot of these stocks doesn't seem to matter. They are just pouncing through these, what should be fairly decent levels of support. And you should see rallies out of them when we are not. The dog that did bark.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we close up the show, I'm sure Andy Heck's going to be very excited. I know that coffee hit at like a 2-year high or something today. Did I see that? So get your Starbucks while you can before they start raising prices. My guess is that it will be soon. And they're not real big on rolling back the prices when coffee comes back. And that's they've been able to ratchet up prices for a while. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, Andy probably getting all hot and bothered about a hot cop of Java at 2-year high prices. Maybe he'll have something to say about that tonight after the Tom O'Brien Show. Of course, Tom O'Brien coming up over most of TFNN directly after the show. But certainly no real catch a bid thing since yesterday and the reversal on this market. But we'll see. Let's see, Andy. Yeah, Andy says it could go to $3. We'll look forward to Andy's show after Tom O'Brien's tonight. Andy sending me a lot of emails, writing a lot of articles, that's for sure. Anyway, we're off almost 20 points on the S&P cash. We're just a point higher than the lows. Doesn't seem like anybody's coming in to do much. And I will do it one more time just because it looks to me like we are getting in the red zone.
Code red. Repeat. We are at code red.
Well, we are at code red. And this is one of these days where you would love to start seeing as a sign, if you are short, that we start getting these blow-offs into the end of the day instead of people running in and trying to buy every dip. But I have a feeling that the people that were awful smug on Friday and Monday morning probably not feeling so smug today, and that's old Mr. Market can make you humble in a minute. All you have to do is wait. And I think we're kind of seeing some of that. Anyway, we're talking about Aris Group, ARRS. Like I said, a lot of these stocks should be bouncing, and sometimes when a stock doesn't do what it's supposed to do, it can tell you a lot more than what it does tell you to do, and that is that almost none of these stocks that should be finding support are doing so. We pointed out a great deal of the stocks in the gold market that are supposed to be doing that, and even with gold up $3 or $3 today, not enough. They're going to still be bleeding too much cash. But keep an eye on it. Gap Stores, GPS. This one's back in to support area. And if you think clothing's going to be big this fall, you can't ask for a better looking chart. The downside is that, you've got probably not a market wanting to cooperate, and it doesn't do you any good. For those people that are new to the show, I've always had kind of an idea or a map of the market, and that is 50% of it had to do with the broad indexes and which way they were going, about 25% the sector, and about 25% the stock itself. It is a sucky sector in a sucky market, and I'd be watching this close. If this thing starts getting a bid, maybe we do turn around. But my guess is not. I think we're going to see a great deal of these stocks that have come down here with lows as the market change, do what we showed at the beginning, and that is jump the creek and jump these gaps down, and the volumes suddenly come in. Oclara, OCLR, another one of these stocks, one of those biotech stocks, doesn't look all that bad. Almost no volume down here, going after the May 7th low at $1.44, 8.5 million shares. You got 620,000 shares. But again, you should see people really diving into these, and you do not. So keep an eye on some of these. I'm not saying that you should play them, but I have a feeling they are the canaries in the coal mine. Keep an eye on these stocks at lows and whether they blow through them, and you get the volume then. That may be the pattern. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.